This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is the one that everybody wants, me.
Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my idol. You're going to acknowledge me.
All right, everybody, guys and girls, welcome back to another edition of the SmackDown Review, the actual 85th edition since I've been here doing the SmackDown Review. So, Ocho Cinco, I did have that written in my notes here, but we're going to be covering the SmackDown that took place on June 3rd, 2022. I am Michael Ritter, the host of the show here, one of the hosts. You can find me on Twitter at Michael5Ritter or on Instagram at MichaelRitter5. Also, the host of the Football Function podcast, available on all of your podcasting platforms. Joining me on today's episode, my usual co-host, John Carrasco. John, how you doing?
I am doing pretty good, man, and it's good to be back in the chair. So definitely back. I'm happy to be back here, and this was a good episode, man. I can't really complain about it too much. I mean, maybe some highs and lows, but then again, good match overall. Yeah,
a go-home show, obviously. And then, it is good. Like you mentioned, to be back in the chair, it does feel good to be back on our normal routine. Mm-hmm. I wasn't really sure today if we were going to be back on our normal routine. So the fact that we are,
surprise you.
Definitely, hell yeah, I'm glad to be back. But anyways, last week, like you mentioned, hell of a SmackDown. I feel like tonight was a pretty good SmackDown as well. So not really going to waste a whole lot more time beforehand. We can kind of just dive in here because at the end of the show, we are going to make our quick predictions for the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view this Sunday. But like we said, this episode of SmackDown aired on June the 3rd, 2022 from Columbus, Ohio. And it starts with Drew Day, that's Drew McIntyre and New Day versus the Brawling Brutes in a rematch from last week. But beforehand, before the match actually gets started or anything like that, we do get a promo from Drew McIntyre, and he obviously gives a shout out to Big E and then confirms that he will be challenging Roman Reigns for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship at Clash at the Castle. But he does say in the meantime he'll be able to help out the New Day and have their back and fill in for Big E as quote-unquote Big D. So what do you think about that pairing there? Drew McIntyre basically saying, hey, until I have to get serious and handle business with Roman Reigns Labor Day weekend, I am more than willing to, fill in here and be an honorary member of the New Day. And they even had a little custom kilt there made for him. But what'd you think about that?
Well, I mean, of course, adding Drew to like any tag team, faction or anything like that, I mean, that's freaking, entertaining, I guess you could say. I mean, the crowd definitely popped at the very beginning of this whenever New Day, they came out and everything. So, I mean, for them to get the reaction like that, I mean, of course, it's Drew. You got it's like adding what would you say, current day.
I mean, to be completely honest,
Jonathan
it's
Taylor,
like
maybe.
It's like, and I'm not saying that the New Day is like the Warriors, but what I'm saying is it's like adding Kevin Durant to the Warriors, because Drew McIntyre is that caliber of player. Yeah. But I mean, to a different extent, obviously, it's more so adding Kevin Durant to the, Denver Nuggets maybe, or like the Portland Trailblazers or something like that. That's kind of how I view the New Day. But anyway, that's just like a basketball analogy. But I get what you mean. Adding Drew McIntyre to your group or anything like that, that moves the needle. I mean, we've played flag football before. There's beasts out there at the flag football field who they don't necessarily have a team. They kind of just float around, but they're difference makers. So if you get one of them on your team, you have a good chance of winning. But anyways, that's just kind of, where the New Day are. And obviously they do get the positive benefit of having Drew McIntyre on their team today because they get to see him dominate from bell to bell. But the match doesn't necessarily go according to plan for the New Day. I mean, we do get that 6-man tag match immediately after this little promo, the opening of the show. The match itself lasts around 15 minutes, roughly. It does end with Butch delivering a bitter end to Xavier Woods as he was kind of distracted by Sheamus. So they do get the win. Butch and the Brawling Brutes get a little bit of revenge on the New Day, and they pick up the win here. But, I mean, what do you think about I guess you could say them getting even, obviously, meaning that the program here, the rivalry between the New Day and the Brawling Brutes, isn't necessarily going anywhere. Like, we're going to probably get it next week on SmackDown.
Well, I mean, I could say, I mean, it's kind of getting to where that it's like getting old stage, you know? I mean, yeah, the addition of Drew, I mean, kind of like spices it up and everything like that, but I mean, it's just... It just feels like it's being dragged at this point, you know, like we're getting the same stuff. It's not really nothing different. I mean, there's like nothing like the, you know, superstars are doing to like kind of make this like, oh, I want to watch this match. You know, it's just like, it's like a rolling with emotions type thing. You know? And I mean, I can't get behind the Brawling Brutes. I mean, it's kind of hard to.
I definitely can't.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to like. I don't know, to pick a favorite, you know. Of course, you got Sheamus, you know, the best one out of them, you know. I guess you can lean that way. But, I mean, even with all that, I mean, he's very minimal in matches. It seems like, to me, they're just trying to push Butch a little bit more over, like, Ridge, I guess you could say. Because Ridge, he's definitely not, and I was telling you this earlier, he's definitely not high on my book, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like he's like a very amateur, you know, local talent. Could probably do better than him in my eyes, you know. I don't know. It's just
I mean, hey, to each his own. You're evaluating it. You see what you see. You know, trust your eyes. And if your eyes are telling you that Ridge sucks, there's a good chance that Ridge sucks.
Yeah, and the only thing that I can get from him that looks, I mean, whenever he hits him with like that shoulder tackle and they like flip over and stuff like that, looks like the best thing that he brings to the table for them. You know, like I don't know what he was saying whenever Sheamus was talking, but like. Yeah, it just wasn't catching my attention, bro. I was just like, I can change the channel on this guy real quick if I wanted to, but I'm just like, I don't know, man. I can't get with it. You know, it's kind of hard.
Yeah, I remember whenever he was cutting those promos before Sheamus returned, and he was basically just, you know, ball washing, pretty much just saying, oh, I can't wait for Sheamus to get here. I've looked up to him for pretty much my whole life and all that stuff, you know, so... I feel like they needed Sheamus because that was kind of getting like he wasn't going to last long, kind of just standing on his own, you know, having to speak on his own. Sheamus, obviously, he's the one who's cutting the promos before the match. And when they come out basically saying that he calls him Little D, obviously taking shots, all that good stuff. I mean, it was a pretty good promo from Sheamus. Yeah, Sheamus can definitely go toe-to-toe with damn near anybody in the business. But moving on here to something else that happened in the show, Max Dupree announces backstage that he has signed his first client for Maximum Male Models. Any guesses on who it might be?
Bro, whenever I was watching this, like, just seeing him, like, probably, like, an inch, 2 inches away from, like, Adam Pearce's face, I'm just like, it's getting kind of obnoxious.
He does that.
I'm just like, gosh, dang.
All up
like,
in his grill.
I was like, bro, he's probably, like, smelling your stanky breath, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking to myself. But, I mean, I don't know. I couldn't, like, think of, like, anybody that could have matched, like, that dude's, like, personality at the time. So I'm kind of clueless on who he's going to bring out next week.
Yeah, I mean, it has the making of a heel. You know, it has, like, the writing of the wall, or writing on the wall that this could be a heel. I mean, one thing that we kind of talked about off air was that Cesaro has kind of been rumored that he might be on his way back to WWE.
Interesting.
He's kind of been a little bit of a one-size-fits-all, a little bit of a spark plug or a utility player, I guess you could say, like somebody who can be used multiple ways. And I think that this could be something where they bring him back and it's something different. It's a fresh coat of paint. You put somebody who's as good on the mic as Max Dupree, you know, I'm going to try to call him by his new name, and then somebody who's just overall in the ring as good as Cesaro. Now, Cesaro isn't necessarily as good on the mic. You know, you give him a mic and you put him in a program. He had a little bit of a run with Roman Reigns, but that wasn't necessarily, like, you don't look back on that and think, damn, you know, Cesaro was cutting some mean promos in that little program that they had going on. You know, you think back on it, you think, well, I mean, that was kind of where he peaked, at least here recently in the WWE. So I know it's speculation at this point. If he were to come back and join Max Dupree, I just feel like it would be a little bit of a way to get people more interested in that, because he has a big fan base. You know, people love Cesaro. So if he joins in with that, I think that it would certainly be beneficial for Maximum Male Models.
Well, I could say that I do miss those uppercuts that he gives.
Yeah, those European uppercuts, I believe they are, and just the signature swing. Like I said, we don't know. We never knew whenever we got the last one. We didn't get to appreciate the last swing. So hopefully, it wasn't the last swing, and it was just the last one for a little while, and we'll get to see it here pretty soon. But he will be introducing that Maximum Male model next week, so we do get a little bit of time to ponder, maybe see if anything gets leaked or something like that. But I guess we'll see what happens.
I was gonna say, okay, just kind of like thinking, like just while you're talking and stuff like that. One person that I can see that's like that dude is your best friend, The Miz.
Oh my gosh! See, that's the thing though. I'm trying to think of a good way to explain it. That's like putting, two bulls, and I already know that this is a bad analogy, so I'm not even going to continue on with it, but pretty much that's like putting two dudes in the same position. You can't have those two guys. I mean, you need them on separate shows kind of doing the same thing, providing that same like annoying, arrogant, I'm way better than you and there's nothing you could do about it like type of character. But I do see what you're saying, although I will disagree. Definitely not my best friend. But anyways, we can go ahead and continue on here in the show. They do show a pretty long video package just promoting the Hell in a Cell match. Cody versus Seth Part 3. Cody Rhodes has gotten both wins in the WrestleMania match and the WrestleMania Backlash match. We'll get to our predictions a little bit later, but this being the only Hell in a Cell match, I do believe that's why it got a little bit of the extra promotion more than any of the other matches. But continuing on here in the show, Jinder Mahal versus Humberto Carrillo.
Funny stuff.
Yeah, Shanky, obviously, dancing pre-match backstage. I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on in Shanky's life, but I'm jealous. As somebody who just recently watched the movie ATL, if I were to guess, if I was a gambling man, I would guess that Shanky got some cutty or something like that. For him to just be in such a, a good mood or, just be dancing around for no reason. Music doesn't even have to be playing, and this dude's just, feeling pretty chipper to say the least. But, yeah, I mean, he's dancing pre-match. Jinder Mahal obviously tells him he needs to take it serious tonight. Last week, your dancing nonsense cost me the match, and I just don't need any of that happening this week. So absolutely no dancing. He made it very clear before the match. But that dancing actually pays off, and it pays dividends this week because it distracts the referee and allows Jinder Mahal to steal a win. And then Shanky, after the match is over, has a little bit of a dance with Samantha Irwin to celebrate.
Well, let me say, she was looking mighty fine.
Oh, man. She doesn't get enough camera time. I will say that.
And another thing, let me correct you real quick. Samantha Irvin.
Damn it. All right. Sorry. I wasn't sure about it, but you didn't address that first. You should have definitely addressed that first. But anyways, yeah, my bad.
But the only reason I say that is because she liked one of my tweets.
Yeah,
whenever
I remember
had Twitter.
that. Yeah.
But sorry, everybody, but I had to get rid of it.
I was about to say, why don't you see if she'll like another one of your tweets, huh, bud?
But, I mean, man, I was like seeing this last week and it like still like following through Shanky and his stuff like that. It's great. It's entertaining now. And, I can't really see like the direction that they're trying to go. I guess you could say like maybe like a feud between him and Jinder. But
it's heading that direction for sure.
I mean, that's the only thing I can see about it. But I mean, like the outfit that he wore, it's kind of like he's starting to like personalize himself a little bit. Like it's starting to show a little bit. So I'm okay with that. I mean, yeah, but the match and everything, I don't know about the Los Lotharios. They're getting their little shine, I guess you could say. But yeah, I'm kind of past them guys too. But I think it was a good match. Good for Jinder, I guess you could say.
Yeah, trying too hard. They're coming out there, flexing their abs, showing off their muscles, doing the kiss cam, all that stuff. Trying a little bit too hard to impress the ladies where if you break out the dance moves, you're going to get the girl.
There you
and
go.
Shanky has proved that you don't have to try too hard. You just got to try, don't work harder, work smarter, I guess, is a better way to put it.
It was crazy to see him get Samantha Irvin off her chair and everything and get her grooving. I was like,
Pat McAfee was vibing over there too, kind of getting this song actually hits. He just said that. I wasn't sure if he meant to say it on his mic, but he was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Oh man, yeah, that was some good stuff right there.
moving on to the women's six-pack challenge for a number one contender's spot against Ronda Rousey. And Pat McAfee does kind of jokingly say, whenever they advertise this, he said, don't worry, this match is happening. Just as a little bit of way to poke fun, you know. He'll say one of those. I mean, at least one a show.
Yeah.
You get Pat McAfee saying something where if you're not actually paying attention, it will go completely over your head, and I do feel sorry. That's kind of like rewarding the people who are actually paying attention. But anyways, let's go ahead and get in here. Well, who was on this match? I don't have it written down, but I'm going to try to remember. I know it was Shayna Baszler, Natalya, Aaliyah, Shotzi, Xia Li, and Raquel Rodriguez. Okay, so those are the 6. But Aaliyah is initially locked in the locker room. They show her kind of banging on the door and all that stuff, trying to get out. Ronda Rousey watching from ringside. They definitely set the stage to make this seem like one of those segments that you didn't want to miss. You know, you wanted to kind of sit tight. Like Joey, you know, somebody who I mention all the time. He used to specifically use women's matches as his, okay, I'm going to go get some food. Like, that was just literally, like, he would always say, and I would always be like, that's kind of weird, you know? Like, why wouldn't you want to watch the women wrestle, you know? Like, and that was just kind of like one of the things was, hey, you know, just dude likes his wrestling, you know, whatever, you know? He's going to not, I guess, give the women a chance to earn his, I guess, TV time. He just felt like, hey, if I'm going to miss any match, if I'm going to go get some food, I would rather miss, you know, one of these lackluster women's matches. And this, keep in mind, he hasn't watched, you know, as detailed as he used to. So this was before the women's revolution and all that stuff, whenever they were still, you know, putting on just terrible matches, fighting for the Divas Championship, not the women's championship. Obviously, the women's division is a lot different now, but we can get back into this match. Aaliyah does come out. She immediately goes after Shotzi. They kind of brawl all over the place. Raquel, she goes on to dominate the match for the most part, delivering a Tejana bomb to Shotzi. But immediately after that, she gets put in a chokehold by Shayna Baszler. She just jumps on her back, eliminates her from the match. And Natalya, she kind of just creeps up, pulls a little bit of like a hyena move, and just, you know, picks up the scraps. Steals herself a win and earns herself a number one contender spot, or opportunity, I guess I should say, against Ronda Rousey. But I mean, one thing I will say is Natty might get some, you know, some crap for this. You know, they might say, well, what the hell, you know, why are they pushing Natty? It's 2022. Well, number one, the women's roster isn't just, you know, absolutely loaded with talent. I mean, we just had the women's tag team champions literally walk out, you know, so there's 2 vacant spots right there. Who knows what the hell's happening with some of the other women, but I mean, beggars can't be choosers. You know, Natty's a good wrestler. She's going to put on a good program with Ronda Rousey. She'll be able to carry that match in terms of the wrestling. Ronda Rousey isn't going to have to, like, I guess, throw stiff shots the entire match, because it feels like her and Charlotte Flair really didn't gel that well together in the ring. I mean, it's not to say they can't put on a good match, but I just felt like the chemistry there, it always felt like more of like a fight, you know, and that's not necessarily saying that's a bad thing, but I do appreciate a good women's wrestling match, a good technical wrestling match, and that's what you get with Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Bayley, you know, women like that, Asuka. But yeah, I do feel like Natalya, and even the way she won, people might kind of, you know, criticize that, saying, well, she kind of snuck up and stole the win from Raquel, but I mean, if it's a 6-pack challenge, you have to do something like that, you know? I mean, you're not just going to get the clean, like, I just did my finishing move, had all my power-ups, no one's around me, let me just get a clean 1, 2, 3. Mm-hmm. You got 5 or 4 other women who are in the picture who are likely going to go try to break up that pin, and you just got to hope that you luck into the right situation to kind of steal it, and that's exactly what she did. So I'm not criticizing that by any means, not criticizing the decision. I did feel like that was kind of, you know, Raquel's win for the taking, and they kind of went on to showcase that by making her dominate. But the fact that we have gotten 2 one-on-one matches with Ronda Rousey, and then one of them ended up turning to them tagging together, so we've kind of seen different variations of them being featured in the same program. I just feel like now they're like, okay, like, did they even say when the match is going to happen? Natty versus Ronda? Like, is it? All right, see, that's the thing. There's no juice behind this. You know, she just won in a 6-pack challenge. Raquel Rodriguez is good enough where you can build her up through the summer, reward her with a match at SummerSlam. You know, I'm not saying she's ready to win it, but you could at least get a nice, solid, you know, bit of momentum behind her, you know, heading into one of the bigger pay-per-views that we're going to get. Because keep in mind, Bayley's going to be coming back as well. Some other women on the SmackDown women's roster. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. But, yeah, pretty much I thought that Raquel was the smart decision, but I'm not upset with Natty. So a long-winded answer there is I'm not upset with the decision. I'm excited to see Natty, what she can do here.
Oh yeah, I mean, this was, like you said, it was good from, I guess you could say, all angles. Some people kind of out of the picture. Aaliyah, she took that nasty gut wrench from
She wasn't even trying to win. She wanted to take out Shotzi, and then she got eliminated by Shayna.
I was like, gosh, dang, like there's just some botches happening tonight.
There was one later. I'll get to that. Yeah.
I was about to say, yeah. But I don't know, man. I kind of see like how it was going, like of course like people have to do that, like you were saying, kind of get in where you fit in type stuff, you know. So I mean, I'm not mad about it at all either. I kind of see like Natalya as like the veteran, out of them. So I mean, it's not like she's gonna like fail at this, I think that she's gonna make like Ronda Rousey at least look better, in ring and everything. Because I kind of see her as like the mentor for like Shotzi and Aaliyah, just because like some of the backstage packages that they have. So
I feel like Natalya and Shayna Baszler were really the only two options that you had to win this one because, like I mentioned, Raquel, it would have made sense, but at the same time, still a little bit too early. Maybe just putting a little bit on her too fast. Shayna, I mean, everybody wants to see that. The Shayna Baszler versus Ronda Rousey, that one would have made sense. I mean, that's probably the more popular matchup that people are going to want to see. I guarantee we hear that more and more throughout the week and throughout, once SmackDown actually, gets beaten into the ground by everybody. People are going to say, hey, Shayna Baszler probably should have won this match. But it is what it is. Shayna Baszler could have done what Natalya did. She's the one that went and jumped on Raquel Rodriguez's, jumped on her freaking back and decided to choke her out. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Natalya's a little bit smarter. I mean, you got to be smart in this business. It's a dog-eat-dog world, so to speak. But anyways, Natalya does advance. She earns herself that opportunity. You got anything else to add on that one before we move on? They did have a little bit of a face-off, Ronda Rousey and Natalya, after the match is over. Natalya obviously wearing that new gear. She did look damn good. A little bit of like a Kill Bill type vibe. So definitely enjoy that.
Yeah, I was gonna point that out. I mean, I don't know if it was just the outfit that made her like look a lot better and everything. I was just like, dang, she came down the ring, like, I don't know if like somebody said something about her and she like smiled at them like real hard on like whenever she cut the corner and stuff. So I was like, okay, she's coming down here with a little excitement, a little bit of extra energy, I guess you could say. But nothing I want to point out was like the graphics that they deleted from Xia Li's entrance and stuff. I was like, man, that's good, especially if she didn't do like much of that freaking
the taekwondo moves. Yeah.
I was like, okay, just go out there and do your thing. But I mean, I didn't really have too much from it. Raquel Rodriguez though, she is looking good.
Oh my gosh, Raquel Rodriguez, she's going to be a star without a doubt. She's going to be one of the women's wrestlers who kind of follow in the same footsteps as Bianca Belair in terms of just getting a lot of success early. And having success coming up to the main roster from NXT.
Yeah.
But speaking of NXT, what word would you say NXT spells out?
Next.
What show used to come on MTV whenever we were younger?
Next.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with the show Next, basically it's just whenever you tell somebody, it's like a bus full of single people. There's like a guy or a girl, whatever, and they just kind of go on different dates. As soon as they get off the bus, they have some like cheesy thing and a little bit of facts about them. They go on a date. It lasts like 1 minute to like 45 minutes or something like that. And like for every minute that you're there, you get like $1, right? Or it's like added up. And at the very end, if she likes you, you get a chance to like go on a second date or take the money. I didn't really mean to explain the whole rules of that show, but what I'm trying to say is I would definitely say next to this lady that we're talking about here, and that is Lacey Evans.
Oh, yeah.
Because, see, a little bit of a long-winded response, a little bit of a, long way to get here for me to tie it up there. But, yeah, Lacey Evans, I'm not a fan of this. They're bringing her back to SmackDown. I'm like, oh, all right, hold on. So we are forced to, listen to all your BS sob stories 5 weeks in a row, hearing you, pour your heart out, all that good stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then inexplicably, you just get moved to Raw. You go over there. I'm guessing it didn't go so well, right? Because here you come running back up to our door on SmackDown, wanting to just, hey, I was hoping you guys still had room for me over here. I'm not really doing anything on Friday night, so thought maybe I can come, get on the roster or something. We don't want you, all right? So, no. Honestly, the division itself is a little bit thin. So we will take anybody we can get. So jokingly, obviously, or in all seriousness, we'll take Lacey Evans, but, man, I just don't know what the hell we're getting from her. Honestly, like it seemed like she was a flat out babyface. All the signs were pointing to Lacey Evans being a babyface, and then we get the rumors that she's turning heel, and you can kind of believe it, and just seeing this new version of her, but we haven't seen her in the ring yet. We're barely seeing her make appearances, although next week she does make her return to SmackDown. I want to see her in the ring, Get her in a match with somebody, for Christ's sake now, Like, that's kind of what I want to see. If she comes out next week and she's telling a sob story, it's time to get our shovels out, bud, because we're going to be burying her next week on the SmackDown review.
Well, I mean, I could totally agree with that. Like, seeing her go to Raw, I was like, okay, hopefully they got something going for her. And then for it to be, I don't even know, like within a week, maybe the same week.
Yeah.
And see her coming back, I was like, they have no idea what
they're just playing hot
do,
potato. That sucks, dude, honestly. And you've seen people get cut, for this because, damn, we've tried. We've sent you back and forth from different shows. I mean, what's next? NXT, going to send her back down there. But, I mean, that's the thing is I don't want them to cut her. That's it. Like, I don't want them to – just because I'll say next, and send her on the way, that's not necessarily mean that I want her to go because I want her to be on the roster. But, I mean, that's the thing is, like, you got to find I guess a home or like a niche, something like that, and like get comfortable in that role because right now it's like she can't even find a home on a roster, on a brand, if that's the way you look at it, if there's still a brand split or whatever. But, I mean, how is she going to find like programs to get in, people to work with consistently if she's not even like on the same show on a weekly basis, so hopefully that this is, I mean, you would hope, we got to give them the benefit of the doubt here. They brought her back, so they've only gone there to Raw once, tried it out, it didn't work out. Maybe they're like, okay, SmackDown's in desperate need of some help, so maybe they're bringing her back over here. But I will say, like I just mentioned, man, I'm over the video packages. I'm over the sob stories, dude. You can only feel so sorry for somebody, I'm there with Lacey Evans. Let's get on to some wrestling. Let's see what you got. Let's see what kind of heel you're going to be now, and I'm interested, and I'm all for it. But if you're not going to do that, it's going to be hard for me to get invested for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's just like so up in the air with what they got going on. Just not making sense, and I don't know her, so she's like a new character to me, and for me to see this as like a fan watcher, it's just kind of like what the heck is going on type thing, I don't know. I mean, she seems like she has the background, right? Military, strong,
she's a badass
woman. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She seems like she can probably go out there and do some work. But I mean, for it to be in the hands of other people right now, it's just not a good situation for viewers, That's how I see it.
Man, Lacey Evans, let's just say you definitely want to see her get back in the ring, bud, for sure. She is a very good wrestler, number one. And then,
so would you say like technical, like how you were saying about like Becky Lynch type category, or more of like
no, because she
Raquel?
didn't. Yeah, she's not. I would say she's definitely more in the Raquel Rodriguez type category because she wasn't like, wrestling since she was like 18. She was a military background. She's a mom, all that stuff. She just so happens to be a badass, an ass kicker, and probably, maybe was a wrestling fan growing up or something like that. I don't know. I feel like if she was a wrestling fan growing up, we'd have probably heard about it by now and how there was some type of, traumatizing experience that happened while she was at a wrestling show and somehow ties into right now. But anyways, let's just hope that Lacey Evans gets in the ring soon.
And that's how it is for me. I have to like ask, like, I guess you could say you for like the information on like how she is like in ring and stuff like that. See, so I'm just seeing her as a person right now, I don't know.
It's cool. I like this stage. I like the stage of people coming back who've been gone for a little bit. Max Dupree, E.T. or I.E. LA Knight, Lacey Evans coming back as well. Gunther, who didn't necessarily come back, but he was somewhere else. WWE fans knew about him. You kind of weren't necessarily, he wasn't on your radar yet, like you still have that newish type fan radar where not everything, is going to go there. Some stuff's going to, kind of get thrown off to the wayside, and that's totally understandable. That's why I'm here, to kind of help you out there in those little areas. But one situation that I know you're not going to need help in, and you're actually very excited about, is this next segment here. MadCap Moss returns with a new look and a little bit of an epic ambulance entrance. I guess you could say the ambulance kind of pulls up a little bit. The doors open. You see MadCap come out. Looks damn good, obviously. Like I mentioned, has a new look. We kind of wondered about the suspenders and like those shorts and all that stuff. Definitely looks more like a professional wrestler. I like that. He comes out and he cuts a very passionate promo talking about how that old version of MadCap is dead. In fact, he buried him. And he demands that Happy Corbin comes out, and he does. And then Corbin claims that MadCap is only back because he misses him. And they kind of tease a match, but Corbin obviously does the heel thing, says, I don't want it tonight, though. We'll do it on my terms. Excuse me. Adam Pearce, however, does not agree with that and decides to go ahead and make that match happen right now or next. I guess you could say we go to a commercial break. We come back. We do get the one-on-one match, but it doesn't even really get a chance to start. Honestly, it ends very quickly whenever MadCap pulls out a chair and starts to beat the hell out of Corbin. Hits him a few times in the back, jams his head right in that chair, goes grabs the steel steps from the outside of the ring, and you already know what he plans on doing, but he doesn't necessarily get a chance to do it because he's held back and ultimately stopped by the referees and other officials. So what'd you think about MadCap Moss making his return only 3 weeks after that devastating injury?
Well, let me tell you, I wasn't a fan of the clothing change. I did like the suspenders and the short shorts and, like those, or the shoes that he had on. Like now, like this little, I don't know, like latex type stuff that he was wearing.
Spandex.
I was like, spandex, I was like, I don't know, man. But, I mean, I was freaking happy that he changed his music. That was a positive for me. So I was like, okay.
Didn't catch that, so I'm glad you noticed that.
No more game show host type stuff. So I was like, okay, man, now I can kind of get, like, the little, like, aggressiveness out of the music from you and stuff like that. So I was definitely on board with it. I wasn't happy for the match. I wanted it to go a little bit longer. I wanted Corbin to take a little bit more of a beating and everything like that. But the way it ended, I mean, I was okay with that. That chair was pretty bent. He took those back shots, and he knew they were coming.
Pause.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But, yeah, he did. I mean, whoa. But anyways.
The After Dark show.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, totally. I mean, he was taking those shots from the steel chair, without a doubt, in the back. And it was definitely, looked like it was tough on him. But one thing I was going to say is you might not have to wait very long to see Corbin take a beating because of the announcement that Adam Pearce made after the match, is that they are going to be added to the card at Hell in a Cell in a no-holds-barred match. Mm-hmm. So you're going to get your fix. Just wait.
I was going to say, yeah, or after, like, this was announced, I mean, I kind of felt like it was, like, leading towards it, So I was like, okay, yeah, this is about to be happening. So I was already all for it, So I was like, okay, let's do this. But, yeah, for this to be happening, like, no holds barred, I hope MadCap does something.
No, he will. Without a doubt. I mean, we'll get to our predictions here very soon, but man, I do have very high hopes for MadCap in this one.
I was gonna say, like, I don't know if like you had caught it whenever, like, how you can catch like the sound, far away from the camera. Whenever he was like, "You better make this right." MadCap said that to Adam Pearce. Mm-hmm. I was like, "Oh yeah, we're about to get some." And that's whenever like the thoughts started coming and stuff. I was like, "Yo."
Yeah, and we get more things announced for next week, obviously. We've already heard about the Max Dupree, the Maximum Male models. That first client's going to be announced next week. Lacey Evans makes her return to SmackDown next week. Another thing that was announced, Gunther versus Ricochet for the Intercontinental Championship. We get that announced by Ludwig Kaiser. So, man, I feel sorry for Ricochet. R.I.P. to Ricochet's Intercontinental Championship reign. I do feel like he is running into the wrong guy at the wrong time. And, man, it was fun. At least you still got old Samantha Irvin to, cheer him up afterwards. But, man, I do not see any way, any scenario where Gunther does not walk out of next week's SmackDown with the Intercontinental Championship.
I can kind of say I have one, and that's with Gulak. With the little, I don't know, disqualification type thing. That's the only way I can see him holding it. Because I guarantee Gulak has to come out there and kind of like defend himself in some type of way to get himself like involved with this tag team. Because that whenever Ludwig, he came in, bro, he was kind of looking kind of nice himself, you know. So I'm not mad that even if they go into like a tag team type thing.
Yeah.
But to hear Gunther talk for, I don't know, my first time, I guess you could say, dude, he sounds freaking serious.
The real deal, man.
Yeah.
He is definitely going to make an impact next week. That's for sure. And I can't wait. Dude, honestly, he's going to definitely, jump high on my list for sure.
I mean, I can't say that this isn't going to be like an offset match because you kind of got to give Ricochet like that, that versatile, agile, like, I don't know, skill set that he has, to kind of bounce back with the big guy type thing. I don't know. So I think it's going to be kind of...
He's going to sell a chop like crazy, dude. He's going to do a whole backflip. Yeah, feet going to get caught on the rope, something like that, It's definitely something that, man, I've been waiting to see that, and I'm excited that next week we finally get to...
you saying that, I can kind of see him, like, jumping off top rope or something like that, and then, like, coming into one and just, like...
Yeah.
Straight head back type
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Dude, that's... Okay, that's... Yeah, you got me hooked right there. Shouldn't even start talking.
Seriously, I have no problem saying Ricochet is the best seller in WWE history. Like, there's nobody better, honestly. I would love for somebody to, prove me wrong, and or just throw a suggestion out there. I truly don't think that I have seen for sure anybody in my time watching wrestling in any promotion somebody who's better at selling than Ricochet. And I mean, obviously, I've seen Dolph Ziggler, Shawn Michaels is pretty good as well. There's been a lot of people out there who have been able to, do a hell of a job selling. But man, Ricochet he takes it to another level, and it's every single match. Like I've never seen Ricochet have a bad match. Mm-hmm. I've never seen him look sloppy or something like that. Like he's always carrying the matches, and that's the number one thing is like. He has slowed down a little bit in matches. You don't see him break out like the 720 or whatever it's called, off the top rope. He doesn't do any of that thing or those things that are just putting his body through absolute hell. Probably because he knows, damn, these things are starting to catch up. You've seen people who are like brutal, have like a brutal style. Those hits end up adding up. Eventually you're going to have to pay that credit card bill, at some point. I feel like Ricochet is somebody who might acknowledge that. But at some point, or I guess is what I'm trying to say is Ricochet still does not allow himself to like look sloppy in the ring. Mm-hmm. Like just getting back to kind of what I was even talking about in the first place is without a doubt one of the best sellers in the entire history of the company, and just in terms of right now, I mean he's one of the best workers truly, but it's just like his character, it's just so vanilla as far as like there's nothing, there's no depth, there's no dimension. We don't know anything about the dude other than hey, he's good as hell in the ring. And he's fearless and he'll fight anybody, But what else? You tell us one thing about you. Tell us one thing about you as a person. What the hell did you do in high school? Where'd you come from? What made you want to become a professional wrestler? What's your mission here in the WWE? What's your ultimate goal? Something like that. Give us something, Ricochet. I mean, I feel like if you were just to add a little bit of flavor, a little bit of, I guess like the word I just keep coming to is dimension. Just add a little bit of something to it, and I feel like. He could maybe be a main event guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for him to be holding the IC title, I mean, I think that's good, for him to have it on his shoulders and everything like that. And, I can't say quote for quote what he had said, but, like, how he was holding the title and tapping it, saying, that it was going to be his after all that. I mean, the confidence, it's there. It's not like he doesn't believe in his craft, So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's why I'm kind of like, this is going to be like a 50-50 to me. I mean, I know Gunther's a bigger dude, powerful and stuff like that, but I'm not going to give the benefit of doubt.
See, and I feel like because Ricochet's a babyface and they don't want it to seem like he needs help unless Ludwig gets involved, Gulak isn't coming out. Like, it's going to be one-on-one, and I feel like even if Gulak doesn't come out, I truly feel like Ludwig might have a little bit to do with the match. He might get involved and eventually cost Ricochet to where Ricochet doesn't necessarily look like a chump or like he's weak or anything like that because he technically got cheated out, but he still loses the belt and he gets put on, Walter and all that stuff. So it is a way to kind of make both guys look strong or not make anybody look weak in a way to get the title off of him. Just a scenario they can do there. But moving on here to the main event, the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championship match between the Usos and Riddle and Nakamura. This match goes on for a little bit, obviously, a hell of a tag team match until Shinsuke Nakamura tries to go for like a running knee to one of the Usos, but he ends up hitting it on the steel steps. And then the Usos identify that, excuse me, and then they go directly at that. Somebody jumps off the apron, kicks him right in the back of the leg. The referee has to stop the match. He does throw up the X, but who knows? That could be a work. You know, it could be, hey, we know that the fans know what the X means. It usually means this is real. You know, somebody's really injured. So because it's a storyline, I do feel like this is fake. I do not feel like this is a real injury. So I think that Shinsuke Nakamura going to be just fine. But they wanted to make Riddle look like a badass. And that is exactly what they did. And I want to just give Riddle a shout out right now, dude, because oh my gosh, like just his facial expressions, the way he rose to the occasion and made it believable, dude. Like once Shinsuke Nakamura gets kind of limped away and he kind of walks up the stage and up the ramp, and Matt Riddle turns around and he says, let's go. You know, he looks at both of them, delivers the shot to Jimmy Uso right there, hops up on the ramp. He takes the fight to them, and it's almost like he relishes that 2-on-1 opportunity. Like to be completely honest, the way he was just up for the challenge and just delivering haymakers left and right, he was looking like the Boston Celtics out there, and the Usos were the Golden State Warriors. But yeah, the 2-on-1 opportunity, and he was just kicking ass, you know, damn near done it. He damn near got it done. He had Jimmy Uso on the top rope. In position to do that, you know, that typical RKO off the top rope that we've seen him do. Jey Uso comes out of nowhere, gets the sneaky tag. So he's now the legal man, but somebody plays Roman Reigns music, and it just comes up through the loudspeakers. His graphics come on the screen. Obviously, it distracts Matt Riddle, and it causes him to rush through that RKO and just deliver it whenever he wasn't ready. And unfortunately, it ends up being botched. I'm not sure if you saw that or not, but Jimmy Uso literally lands right on his head. He looked like he had his bell rung whenever he was walking up the ramp. Like, if you watch it, because like we said, Caleb, we watch football all the time. He's had several concussions himself. He can identify when somebody has one, and I'd had him look, and obviously he's not a doctor or anything like that, but he knew, like, gosh, dang, man, he definitely got his bell rung without a doubt, and you hate to see that type of stuff, but obviously, like we mentioned, Jey Uso was the legal man, so he does a Uso splash onto Riddle, gets the pin, and steals the win. And then it's revealed that Sami Zayn was the person in the production truck who cued Roman Reigns' theme song. You know, genius. That's the thing. If he's the honorary Us, if Roman Reigns is going to be gone and somebody needs to help cheat, this is genius by Sami Zayn. And the fact that he did it so successfully, I mean, he paid for it. He took an elbow from Matt Riddle whenever he's going out there trying to celebrate with the Usos. Because that's the thing, is Matt Riddle kind of chases them up the ramp, and he's not done yet. You know, he still wants chaos. He still wants to, let what hit the fan. And he has to basically be split up as the show goes off the air, and you could just see his face, spit everywhere, just going crazy, just that passion. And there's a lot of things to take away from this. Number one, is Shinsuke Nakamura really hurt? That's the thing that we're kind of asking. Is he not? It seems kind of random that, his tag team partner, Rick Boogs, was injured by the Usos. Randy Orton was injured by the Usos, and those two were kind of uniting as a way like, hey, both of our partners were injured by these dudes. Let's come together and take their tag team championships. And now another one of them gets injured by the Usos. So I could see them trying to, work it into the storyline, whereas they're trying to make it seem, as real as possible, But that's the thing is like, man, you don't know. So they are kind of flirting with that line. Number two, Jimmy Uso, did he really get a concussion there? Like, is his bell actually rung? Because I saw him bang his head after a 4 or 5 feet drop straight on the ring, and he was definitely holding his head there. So that's another one. Number three, what's next for Matt Riddle? Like, man, he looked like an absolute superstar going that 2-on-1, showing that he did look like he was moving at another speed. He looked like his shots were connecting at a stronger force. I guess you can say they just look more powerful, if that is a way to say it. But man, Matt Riddle showed me something tonight that I don't feel like I've seen, and that is he's ready. He's ready to go to that next level. Kind of like, I mean, him and Randy Orton, yeah, they can soak up this tag team for as long as they want. But as far as like the tag team coming together to try to, give Matt Riddle that main event push or that main event rub from rubbing shoulders with Randy Orton, job completed, success, mission accomplished. Because Matt Riddle is an absolute superstar main eventer waiting to happen. And I feel like Randy Orton has a little bit to do with that, obviously. Matt Riddle's a talented fighter. I mean, if you're talking about actually throwing hands, there's probably not anybody not named Brock Lesnar that could take Matt Riddle in the whole WWE. So that's just number one. Maybe Bobby Lashley, I don't know. But I mean, basically what I'm trying to say is Matt Riddle, being a former UFC fighter, is a legitimate badass. And I feel like sometimes he flips that switch and it's evident, and you could see it whenever it's smooth and he just looks like he's on another level. And that's what it was tonight, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, that's a good breakdown right there. Definitely a lot of insight. But I wasn't mad at this situation, bro. Like, whenever Shinsuke kind of got hurt, I was like, okay, you know, kind of going with it. I was kind of thinking, okay, Riddle's going to get his, you know, butt kicked. But he definitely surprised me. The thing that kind of made me remember is like this kind of happened whenever they had the match, you know, the unification. I don't know. It was just like Riddle. He was like kind of taking that whole match by himself, you know, because Randy Orton, he had got knocked out and he was all hurt on the side of the ring and everything. So this match kind of felt like it was familiar, you know. Like, I don't know if it was like I don't want to hope that it's a storyline. You know, of course, I don't want to say that Shinsuke.
Yeah,
you know,
really
I'm
injured,
happy
yeah.
that he got hurt or anything like that. But I want to say, man, Riddle just took the opportunity that was presented to him and ran with it. You know, because like you said, those shots whenever he ran back down he hit Jimmy pretty good.
Oh my
bro.
God.
The second one, you know, the J. I was like,
When he
bro,
hopped on the apron?
Yeah, you got to at least kind of, you know, your brother just took one to the face. You got to be ready at least, you know. So I was like, okay, that one was kind of off. But I don't know, man. Like I was saying, I think he just took that opportunity and ran with it as best as you could. And like it just gave me like that familiar feeling of that last match, you know. So I was like, okay, I mean, we've seen this before. Riddle, he can definitely handle himself. So I'm like, I'm not mad at it. But I mean, now I want to see, because I don't want to see Riddle as a tag anymore. You know, like I had called this whenever he had hit Roman with that knee, and you were saying this is kind of like a Randy Orton build, and I was like, oh no, this is happening with the Riddle thing.
Yeah,
so
you called it. I will say, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, bro. I mean, you've gotten to this point, you know, or it seems like he knows what he wants to do. So I mean, right now we're just at that point where we don't know. So hopefully we get a Roman Reigns tribal chief coming out next week to actually address this situation. That's how I'm seeing it.
Roman's got to show up at some point. I mean, he's been gone for like 3 weeks straight now. This is just unheard of in this run. You know, we talked about it. We kind of mentioned he's going to take a little bit of a lighter workload, but I didn't think it was going to happen right now, you know, like immediately.
Bro, like you just got this title, you know.
I know you just unified him, you know. I mean,
fighting champion. That's what I kind of see, like Ricochet type deal. But
yeah.
Go ahead.
Maybe they are just, you know, trying to give him a little bit of a breather because they know, hey, once we get back to, you know, heading into Royal Rumble, back to WrestleMania season, we're going to need you, you know, all hands on deck. But, I mean, one thing I will say that did seem kind of funny before we officially closed the SmackDown part of it was whenever the camera showed Matt Riddle at the very end and they were, you know, he just had that mean look on his face. It kind of looked like he was saying, you don't take my Randy or something like that. Like if you just listen, I was like, wait, what? What are you saying? That just seemed kind of funny. So despite having one of the better nights of his career in terms of like in ring and, you know, taking his game to another level, he could still just, you know, hit us with those funny one-liners in the moment. So you got to love that about Matt Riddle. But that does do it for SmackDown, the actual SmackDown review. Are you ready to make some predictions here for the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view?
Oh, yeah. Let's get into it. But I do want to point out one thing.
Let's go.
Sami Zayn.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Just a round of applause for that guy.
Dude, yeah, he always deserves it. I mean, like I said last week, dude, I wanted you to watch that Kevin Owens segment just because it was so funny. Him saying that, you know, now's just not a good time, Moose. And then Kevin Owens just, wait, did you just call me Moose? And they just start disagreeing, and then he goes back, kind of rolls back to the old, you know what? I was just being nice earlier. Elias and Ezekiel, definitely different people. And he's like,
I can
you
see
take that back.
playing in
Oh my gosh, it was so funny, dude. I literally got a kick out of that, and it was just like I was watching it because that was whenever we didn't record Friday night. We watched it on Saturday morning. I remember being in my room just laughing my ass off at that. You don't usually laugh at wrestling like that, and it was genuine. So definitely a big fan of that. But getting here to the Hell in a Cell match card, let's look at it, and we'll go ahead and start with the match that was just added tonight. MadCap Moss, Happy Corbin, no holds barred. we don't have to spend a whole lot of time on this one, I don't think. Honestly, I think it's going to be a clean sweep here. MadCap Moss going to get his revenge and likely put a beat down on bum-ass Corbin.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely riding on MadCap on this one.
Let's move on here. Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, and Edge, a.k.a. The Judgment Day. I agree with casual wrestling fan. It just rolls off the tongue better, known as Judgment Day. I mean, whenever they added the to it, kind of threw it off, but you know it is what it is. The Judgment Day versus AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan. I'll go first here on this one. I do think that it's going to be Judgment Day. Obviously, they're a new faction, giving them a loss right here to basically a bunch of people who they all beat individually in their own programs, kind of just throwing them together as like a team of misfits, like, ooh, let's all team together and beat up the evil force, you know? And I don't think it's going to work out. I think that Edge has his soldiers ready to rock, and possibly getting a new one added this Sunday. I'm not completely ruling that out. Edge continues to tweet pictures of different wrestlers here and there, but I will say, guys, don't be naive, okay? Don't let him fool you, because you know that crap he talks about everybody in the audience? Oh, you guys are so stupid. I can do this and that. I can do this. Well, I guarantee, mark my words, he's going to say something here in a few weeks saying, I tweeted out pictures from all these different wrestlers and you guys just bought into it like a bunch of sheep, a bunch of idiots, thinking I would actually tweet. You know, so that's what I'm saying. If he tweets a person, a photo of anybody, mark them off the list. Immediately mark them off the list as somebody who can possibly join the group. Because number one, he's a professional. He does things brilliant. He's not going to tip his hand. Keep in mind, this is a guy who kept his return, his Royal Rumble return, which is one of the biggest in the past 15 years. He kept that under wraps, you know, complete secret from even the people that were competing in the ring. Some of them didn't even know. And I just feel like with this, he's not going to just put it on social media. You know, he's not going to tip his hand like that and ruin the surprise. He's all for the element of surprise. So really quickly, I just wanted to kind of get that out of the way. Don't fall into the trap, okay? Because you know Edge is going to be calling, you know, talking you know what, calling you guys this and that. And I just want you guys to know, hey, be aware, see it coming, because I promise you, it is coming down the pike. But yeah, I got Judgment Day on this one.
I agree with that one.
All right, 2 for 2. Now let's move on. Kevin Owens versus Ezekiel. I'll let you go first on this one.
Well, I'm definitely going to ride with Kevin Owens on this one, just because, honestly, I don't even have a reason for this, bro. I'm more of a Kevin fan, or a Kevin Owens fan, rather than a Ezekiel fan. So I don't know. I just don't have, a good reason for it.
Well, Jonathan, may I call you Jonathan?
Yes, sir.
I gotta say, man, I'm on the Zeke train on this one. Oh. Honestly, I do. I want to hear Zeke speak. I do. I want to hear Zeke get himself on number one. I want to see Zeke. I want to see Zeke get himself a win here, and I just think that Kevin Owens can afford it. You know, he really can. We saw Elias, his brother, Ezekiel's brother, take so many losses. You know, loss after loss, week after week, being, you know, the joke of the entire company for the most part. His brother doesn't want to follow in those same footsteps. You know, he doesn't want to just go down that same road. So I think he is going to kind of, you know, steer his own ship, you know, maybe walk his own path. And it's going to start here by going 1-0 in pay-per-views and getting a win here against the dude that just is taking shots at his integrity, number one, taking shots at his manhood. I mean, imagine being a whole person and someone saying that you're not who you are. I mean, number one, show some damn respect, Kevin Owens. Number two, I think he's going to take a loss here. I'm rolling with Zeke, so our first disagreement here on the predictions.
Whatever you say, Sammy.
But anyways, continuing on here, Bobby Lashley versus Omos. Now, I don't know if they fought twice. I know obviously Lashley got the surprise upset win at WrestleMania. People didn't think that. People thought that, you know, Omos was just, it'd be smart for them to give him the win, but he, you know, got beat at Mania. I'm not really sure if they've had a rematch since then, so that is on me. But right now, Hell in a Cell, do you think Lashley can do it again?
Well,
MVP is going to be at ringside. That is a factor there.
Man, I want to ride with Bobby on this one just because, man, if that babyface deal that he got going on, man, it feels like it's just like natural now, you know, like it's like people are starting to get behind it and everything. And the Omos, I feel like, man, he's just like that big guy for nothing still, you know, like MVP is like still that dude, you know, like what did you say? Like handling the strings up top,
Puppet master?
Yeah, puppet master type thing. That's how I see it, you know. So I mean, I felt like the match that MVP and Bobby Lashley had was better than the matches that we've been getting between Omos and Bobby. Just because I don't know if you had caught that steel cage match that they had where he had threw him out of the fence and then Bobby like the fence fell down.
Yeah, is that cage match? Yeah.
And I was just like, I mean, I get it, you know, that's the form of winning right there, you know, opponents, or I guess you could say anyone's feet lands on the other side of the ring, you know, wins. But I just didn't feel like that's the way that a steel cage match should be won, you know. I feel like somewhat form of the Hell in a Cell, but I don't think it should have won with Bobby Lashley being thrown out of the cage like that, you know. So I think that Bobby Lashley, you know, being in more of the secured area, you know, he's going to take advantage of that, you know, one-on-one, hopefully.
Yeah, I think that Omos is. I'm picking Omos here. I just do. I think MVP is going to have a say in this. I think he's going to interfere one way or another and get the win. But what about the U.S. title? Theory versus Mustafa Ali. Who do you got here?
And this is something that I can.
You calling it a Lunchable?
Yes, big Lunchable right there. I can't even get behind this. I mean, I kind of felt like, you know, Austin Theory, he was just like handed this thing, you know. I'd rather see, was it Finn Balor holding this championship still, but I don't know, man. I just don't feel like we got Austin Theory against Mustafa. You know, a dude that was like, what would you say, like on strike type deal.
Yeah.
I was like, man, it just doesn't make sense to me. So, I mean, if I had to choose somebody, I'm going to go with Mustafa.
Mustafa, okay. I'm agreeing with you. I am. I think that Mustafa's going to win, but not because necessarily I just, you know, don't necessarily have a reason why. I personally think that because keep in mind, dude, have you watched Raw over the past few weeks? Just kind of seeing this.
I missed this last Monday, but I have been keeping up.
It's pretty much just the same stuff as far as like him kind of getting like embarrassed, Mustafa. And this pay-per-view is in his hometown of Chicago. Okay. So something just tells me that they're going to have a little bit of a payoff. Now, obviously, you alluded to it. He's, you know, had a real life like, hey, fire me. You know, I don't want to work for this company anymore, all that stuff on the internet. But here we are. Here he is still working for us. And I do, or for the WWE, sorry. But anyways, I do think that maybe they patch things up. You know, maybe, I mean, he hasn't had any of those tweets in a long time. You know, maybe he's been featured on TV, and not necessarily a prominent way, but maybe his day is coming. You know, maybe that day is coming here this Sunday, whereas, hey, we wanted to make it seem like you were, you know, getting humiliated. It wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense for us to humiliate you 3 weeks in a row and then all of a sudden humiliate you at the pay-per-view. No, the pay-per-view is for that time for you to persevere, for you to, you know, achieve the unachievable, you know, to beat the guy who no one thinks you can beat because of this reason. And I think Vince McMahon likes to swerve people and say, you don't think I want to put the title on him? I don't give two you-know-whats. I'll put the title on him right now, and who knows? So I am picking Mustafa Ali to upset Austin Theory and get the win. But moving on to the Raw Women's Championship triple threat match, Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Becky Lynch. This one's kind of weird, all right? I'm going to roll with Bianca Belair because I just truly don't think that it's worth taking the title off of her, but I'm not going to lie. Becky Lynch, just you can never count her out. She's like Tom Brady, you know? I mean, as long as she's in the match, I truly think she has a shot to win it.
Well, for me, I'm going to go with Becky Lynch on this.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know. Like you said, I mean, it just seems like that's where the belt belongs, you know. Like whenever she was holding that belt, man, it's just like watching every match or every little promo that she had was just entertaining, you know. She like played it so well. Like even when she lost, you know, I was just like, wow. I mean, the thing that really got me, I don't know if you remember, is like whenever she said like that she sold her soul for the belt and everything. Yeah, I was like, you know, she was really something believable, you know. So like her holding that thing, like I said, even not like her sobbiness and everything like that, it's great, you know. I can follow her, you know, ups, downs. I don't know, it's just something about the way that she plays it, you know. Yeah. So I mean, that's definitely who I want to see win out of this, just because I mean, Bianca Belair, she had her little time, but then lost it, and then bounced back again. And
She lost it around this time last year, SummerSlam. So.
And I'm thinking, man, maybe they're gonna have them like a feud going to SummerSlam. That's just kind of like how I'm going, just because like what's happened and stuff like that. I don't know. I forgot how it was. Sasha that she was supposed to be fighting.
Yeah, she's supposed to fight Sasha, and there was like no advertisement or something like that. And then like out of nowhere, Sasha just was gone, and there was no reason.
I'm kind of like saying now this Asuka thing has like evolving around them, So hopefully it kind of keeps.
Asuka's getting pinned in this match.
Dang.
I don't know who's going to do it, but Asuka's going to get pinned in this match. Okay. That's why she's there, to take the pinfall.
The thing that got me is that mist that she shoots out of her face. Like, man, you can pull that off at any time, and just like kind of like distract your opponent and do whatever you need to do to win.
Take out one opponent while the other one waits, hits you with a KOD. Next thing you know, you're out. Becky Lynch is sitting there with the green mist in her face. That's just kind of what I'm picturing this Sunday.
We definitely got two different sides of this.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. But the actual Hell in a Cell match, so it's only fitting we talk about this one last. Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. The third time these guys have gone at it. If Cody Rhodes wins this one, I feel like move over Drew McIntyre. This is the guy who needs to fight Roman Reigns, because, I mean, he just beating Seth Rollins 3 times, 3 straight pay-per-views. Something to definitely hang your hat on. And I feel like if Cody Rhodes were to lose this match, it wouldn't necessarily hurt, because like I mentioned, you already beat Seth twice. Seth kind of needs a win here, and he has a history of having some polarizing Hell in a Cell matches. Go look at the one that he had against The Fiend. But, yeah, man, this one's tough. I'm going to go with Seth. I think Seth Rollins is going to get the win here.
I'm agreeing with that one, just because I think that he needs this.
Yeah.
Like, rather, like you said, if Cody loses this, it doesn't matter. He's already topped him a couple times. So I think that this is going to revamp Seth in a way. I don't know, like, what they want to do with it, possibly, just because Cody, he has come out and said that he wants to go for that main championship.
Yeah.
Like,
Cody's going to bleed, too.
Yeah, I guarantee he's going to keep, or at least make those words come into fruition, So I don't know. It's kind of hard to see like the direction of it, but I am going to go with Seth Rollins on this one.
So we are lockstep on that one. We disagree on the women's championship match. We agree on the United States championship match. You picked Lashley, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and I picked Omos, so we disagree on that one. We disagree on the Kevin Owens and Ezekiel, and we agree on the Judgment Day and also the MadCap Moss. So, 1, 2, 3, 4 agreements, and 1, 2, 3 disagreements.
Okay.
So we are not going to tie, without a doubt. This is going to be a fun little Sunday of watching the pay-per-view, but little spoiler, not going to be able to watch this one live. I already told you about this. The Boston Celtics play Game 2 of the finals on Sunday, and I'm sorry, guys, but this is some serious you-know-what going on right here. Celtics haven't been in the finals in 12 years. I get 12 pay-per-views a year. You do the math. I'll definitely watch this one a little bit later on a delay and hopefully not get too spoiled. But, yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching the finals live, hopefully watching the Celtics steal another win in Golden State. But, you don't want to count your chickens before they hatch. You want to kind of just let it all play out. But I feel pretty damn good. We'll just say that. John, How you doing? You got anything to say? Any shout-outs, any plugs before we officially sign off here?
Well, man, I just want to say, man, this was a good show. I'm definitely ready for Hell in a Cell. Sucks that you're not going to be watching it because I ain't going to have nobody to text at the time.
Yeah, true. I'm sorry. Discord, hey, you got the Discord chat, man.
That is true. I mean, they definitely keep this thing popping. So, yeah, if you're interested in this Discord chat, I mean, we plenty of people that are in there that communicate and everything. If you want to sign up for the Patreon, they have tiers, 1 all the way up to 50, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah,
something like that.
And it comes with like many different options, different, things that you can see, a lot of After Dark episodes that, a lot of people would be interested in listening to and stuff. So, yeah, if you're tired of these ads and everything like that, and you want to kind of, you know, get into the smooth podcasting world that we got going on over here, Patreon is something that you definitely want to look into. But, I mean, I don't know, man. It's going to be tough not to have you text, but...
Who knows? I might be... I mean, you can still text me. You know, you can still... I'm not worried about spoilers. I'm not worried about spoilers, yeah.
You just said no spoilers, but... Just kidding.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. must be a habit or reflex or something like that. But hey, I mean, go ahead, man. Spoil whatever you got to spoil. All right.
Yeah, definitely want to give you a shout out. I mean, appreciate you having me on and everything.
Glad to have you back. Glad to have you back.
Oh yeah, definitely gonna make this, you know, regular routine and stuff like that. Maybe have some things come up.
Sometimes life happens. Yeah, that's why there's two of us, though.
Yeah, that's what it is. But
I was thrown up. You held it down for us, you know. So I mean, sometimes that's what you got. Yeah,
that was a crazy night.
Night before WrestleMania. Oh my gosh, that was wild, dude.
Oh man, but yeah, definitely want to, you know, shout out the football function. If you're into sports, football, you know, right now Mike's going over offenses, defenses,
coverages,
stuff like that. Terry, he's another
co-host over there.
Yeah, man, shout out to that guy. He's a good friend. But yeah. Definitely want to sign off right there.
I appreciate the shout outs like always, bud. But as far as the listeners go, thank you guys so much. Seriously, it means the world that you guys keep on coming, keep on listening to these episodes. But we'll be back next week, obviously, talking about the things that happened at Hell in a Cell, a little bit of that fallout. So I'm looking forward to that. And then some of the things we mentioned, got some juicy things happening next week on SmackDown. Like we mentioned, Maximum Male Models gets their first client. Lacey Evans returns to SmackDown. And we get an Intercontinental Championship match between Gunther and Ricochet. So definitely some things to look forward to next week, as well as the pay-per-view, NXT pay-per-view this week. Of course, you got Raw in between then, and all the shows they're going to be dropping as far as the weekend review. The, the actual review from Hell in a Cell. Raw review, a mailbag between now and then. So you're going to definitely have some things to listen to, some things to watch. So hopefully you have a damn good week between now and then. Walk passionately in the direction of your dreams, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.